Hey everyone, welcome to Lady Overlander Radio. Tonight we're chatting with Shelby Hall of Shelby Hall Off-Road. Stay tuned. Grab your favorite drink, whether it's a coffee, cocktail, or tea, and get ready. It's Ladies' Night on Lady Overlander Radio. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss an episode. The Lady Overlander Radio podcast is available on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all other major podcast platforms. Enjoy the show. Hey, Arla. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, girl. Hey.
How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Have I said how much I love our intro? It is so cool.
You did not, but I'll listen to it. Yes, I like it.
I like it. I do like it.
So let's see. Last week was pretty eventful for my family. We unfortunately lost my mother-in-law and then came back to frozen pipes and a heater that wasn't working in the cabin. So we had to deal with all of that. So kind of glad that week is behind us. And now, fresh new week. Hopefully this one will be a little better and a little less crazy. We'll see. It's only half over though. So yeah.
Yamming Wednesday, people.
Yes. Woosah Wednesday. That's what it is.
Woosah Wednesday.
Yeah. Yes. That's a thing now.
Yes.
All right. Before we roll into the show, we're going to go over the Jasper Jeep Jam and Overland Rally. That is Thursday through Saturday, March 14th through the 16th here in Jasper, Arkansas. Make sure you get your tickets because it will sell out. There's only 50 spots available for camping, so it is limited.
I'm sure Lisa will chime in here. She's the one that's running the show on that, and I'm sure she'll be on here. She's on last week quite a bit on the show when you were out. And I'm sure she could probably tell us where she's about at because there's been a lot of signups.
Yeah, there has been.
But they're pretty close.
But there's been she's been sending me the vendor list, so that's pretty cool. There's a lot of really awesome vendors that'll be there. Found out that Stacy Buckner of Off-Road Outreach is coming, which will be awesome. She does, I don't know if you saw the episode where she was on Shelby, but she does things for veterans. So she takes her overlanding gear and goes out and gives veterans showers and, gives them new clothes and things like that. And she was actually selected as one of CNN's top 10 heroes of last year.
Oh my God.
She is a badass, man.
She's pretty cool.
She's incredible.
But she's in North Carolina. She's coming all the way to Jasper, Arkansas to chill with the girls.
It's far. It's far. Almost as far as California.
Almost.
Which is like
18
super far. Yeah. Yeah. But so we got that coming up. You got more expo in April.
I'm going for the day on Saturday. I think is the plan right at the very moment. I don't think we're doing the whole thing. I think we're just gonna.
Yeah.
It could change. I mean, everything changes every other day up in here. So, yeah, April. There's that. I know that the next Polar Bear Camp Out is February 10th. That Overland Addict is the sponsor of this one. And if you want to go on that, you need to get online and register for that. They just put out where we're going to do the camping at. Just a reminder that they are giving out a limited number of patches at each one of these 4 campouts that we're doing. They just did one in Oklahoma that Okie Overland did. This one's Overland Addict. The next one, I believe, is trying to think here. There's one in Missouri. And then there's one at Big Brutus. And then when you go to more, you'll get a thing to put all those patches together that'll make a design. So if you're trying to get all this.
So it's really cool, Shelby.
I was going to say, I need to do one of those.
Yeah.
I've
Yes,
never
yeah.
been out in that side of the world, or the U.S. But
Come to the Midwest, darling. It's so beautiful.
yes.
It is. It is beautiful.
Lots of off-roading here, ma'am.
Mhm.
Lots of
I need
off-roading.
to see it.
You do. So there's that coming up. Other than that, I don't even know. I'm so
Yeah.
scatterbrained right now. I don't know.
There's a lot coming up in 2024. However, Arla and I are tired, and we just can't think about it right now. So
Pretty tired. pretty tired.
Yeah.
Last year was tiring. This year so far is kind of tiring.
yeah.
I'll-
So I'm sure you have the same issue, Shelby. I'm sure you're very busy.
I do feel the same way. I feel like I started like right out of the gate with lots and lots of energy, and now I'm like, shoot, we're
Right?
only 31 days in.
Right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm done with 2024 already. Can we roll on to 2025? Because
Right?
damn.
Or just like
I'm
a
telling
vacation.
you.
Maybe just like a month vacation. I feel like one solid month, I think I'd be good.
If I could get a few days of an actual vacation, I would probably lose my mind. I haven't had a vacation. I don't know.
You wouldn't even know what to do with yourself.
I wouldn't know what to do with myself. I could go streaking through the quad. I don't know what would happen.
Exactly.
Misty's
No
so
beer for her.
Misty's like, I can't take her anywhere. I can't take her anywhere.
I'm taking her to Florida during spring break.
I am taking a
time.
vacation for
So
sure.
in
Misty's
April.
taking me to Florida for a late birthday present.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow's my birthday month. Just let everybody know.
I love that.
So we are doing a girls trip.
Birthday month. I believe in birthday month.
Same. Yeah. It's going to
I
be
just
awesome.
like to tell the people at work every day just to annoy them.
So where are you going in Florida?
The Destin area. Yeah, the Panhandle.
Oh, nice. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's going to be so fun. Is it just like beach trip, or what do you have planned?
Mhm.
Pretty much just a beach weekend kind of little mini vacay.
Just her and
So-
I. No children, no husband.
No kids, no husbands. Be great.
Just her and I. Friday through Monday. That's it. We're both from Florida. We both like the beach.
Yeah.
We'll have a good time.
I prefer the beach over the mountains. I know my husband prefers the mountains. I prefer the beach. So if I get a chance to go to the beach,
You're on it.
She's on
I'm
it.
going to the beach.
I'm going.
It's the happy place, man.
It
It
is.
is. It is awesome. And Florida is beautiful.
I can't
It
wait.
is. California is beautiful too. It's just very expensive. Very,
And
very
it's not as warm. It's not as warm as Florida.
Right.
I've only been to Florida once, and I went to St. Augustine, and it was warm. I mean, I don't know if I've ever sweat so much just existing, but it was worth it. It was so much fun. It was
But
really
what
fun.
month did you go? That's the whole. You gotta-
It was the middle of summer. I want to say it was August, so I mean it was
Golly, yeah.
smoking. It was so much fun. Bozard is a huge dealership, and they sell. They're at the time it was to do a Bronco thing, and they brought me out there, and it was so much fun. And Bozard's amazing, and we ate a bunch of tacos, and we got to see a lot of Bronco people, and it was a lot of fun.
Fun.
That's awesome.
I
Yeah.
mean, like the taco part might have been my favorite. I don't know. I like that.
Yeah. You came in the wrong time of year though. You want to come to Florida in like the late winter, early spring,
Oh, okay.
when the weather is the nicest. Yes.
Okay.
It's swamp creature month in August in Florida.
It was.
Whereas,
I mean,
you know,
every picture I have, it's just like,
Yeah.
And I'm not that funny of a person, but I was.
You are in
I was
Florida.
there.
I've been in June and July.
Everyone around me, so I don't feel so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, is my deodorant failed? Do I smell? Do I smell okay?
I'm like, was I supposed to put the deodorant on all over my back? Like
Everywhere. Yes.
All the places. Do it all.
All the spots. Yep.
Every day, regardless of where you're at. Just do it.
Yep.
Save you time.
Just like when you do Rebel Rally, you just put it wherever you can think to put it and
Yeah,
roll with it.
for real.
So,
Well, I'm cold like 99% of the time on the rally, so.
Well, that's good. I'm sure your rally teammates are thankful for that. So,
Yes, very much.
After several days together in a car.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. All right. So let's dig into a little bit of your background. Tell everybody how you kind of got into the whole racing world and all that fun stuff. It's a family thing, right?
The family thing, yeah. Geez, so yeah, I mean, I grew up in off-road. It's very lucky for me that I ended up liking off-road because it was really how I spent my childhood. I mean, some of my earliest memories are building forts in sagebrush. Like my parents were off working, and my dad was off working. My mom was managing like the campsite, and I was off playing, building forts, and probably eating rocks. I mean, hard to say, but kids do. And that's where it all began. And so, like, I mean, that instance, for example, my dad was an off-road driving instructor. My grandfather, I'll take it all the way back. My grandfather was Rod Hall, and a pioneer of off-road motorsports. He started racing in the early 60s and continued to off-road race his whole entire life, which of course then when my dad and my uncle were born, they were also brought into the off-road world. And so same for me, when I was born, I was brought into the off-road world, and my sister and I were just brought along for all races and off-road adventures. And I remember this really is one of my earliest memories. So it must have been, it would have been before school age, so probably like 5. My dad ran an off-road driving school, and my mom worked along with him. And so she towed us kids out to the desert. And at the end of the day, my dad had taught all day long, and the students had all left, and I would beg my dad. I remember begging him, please take me for a ride. Take me for a ride in the racetrack. So he strapped me in to the passenger seat. Of course, I'm 5 years old, so I'm this big, and I can't even see. I don't fit in the seat. I can't see over the dashboard. And so, of course, my dad's driving, very cautiously. And I would beg him, go faster, Daddy, please go faster, go faster. And I mean, that's just one of my first memories. And as soon as I was just a little bit bigger, I was, I don't know, maybe 10 years old, driving on my grandpa's lap in H1 Hummers. And, those things were giant and huge. And that's what I learned how to drive in, was an H1 Hummer. And I know, right? Like those things were bitching to drive. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that here, but those things were amazing, amazing vehicles. And I also got to drive one as an older person. It's like driving a tank that, has a turbo. Like the thing is just badass to drive.
Well, yeah, you can just drive over things that are in your way.
Oh, yes. Nothing, the amount of ground clearance you have. I mean, it's a square underneath the truck. So, I mean, you're not concerned about hanging up anything. And it is literally a tank. It's amazing. It's a super fun truck to drive. So that's kind of when I learned how to drive in. And I first started racing in an H3 Hummer, and then kind of like went back and forth between the H3 Hummer and the H1 Hummer. And then my grandpa and I restored his 1968 Bronco, Strop Bronco, that he won the 1969 Baja 1000 in, which was it was really special for us because that truck had been sitting in a museum for years, and I had thrown the idea out to him. I was in my early 20s at the time, so I'm not sure I really fully grasped what history meant. And so I was like, Grandpa, this vehicle, this Bronco, should not be sitting in a museum, boring. Let's pull that thing out, let's restore it, and let's go race it. Let's go get it in the dirt. And surprisingly, he was like, hell yeah, let's do it. So we did. I couldn't believe it. So we restored it and we took it back to Baja and we raced in the 2015 and the 2016 Nora Mexican 1000, which was where that truck originally won back in 1969. So pretty full circle and awesome that we did that together. And that also happened to be the last race that my grandfather was able to drive in. And so that was very special to me. And, from there, I've just continued racing. And in 2019, I started racing with Ford, which was a mind-blowing experience to be invited to drive on their Baja 1000 team.
Nice.
And then I went on to compete in the Rebelle for them, and now I've raced in the Rebelle 5 times for them, and now I have my own UTV that I race, and I just try and be off-road as much as I can.
That's awesome.
That's the life.
Yeah.
Most days, it's a lot of work to get there.
Well, you told us you have a lot of desk time too, which you're not a fan of.
Yes.
Adulting. Boo.
Yes. Racing, off-roading, it is an expensive hobby for sure. And, we like to compete at a high level, show up as best as we can. And thankfully I work with some really amazing partners that help us get there. But it definitely takes a lot of computer work to get there too.
Yes, most things do nowadays.
Indeed.
So did your sister go into the racing world as well, or did she do something completely out of there?
She's much smarter than me. No, she she works. She is amazing, actually. I mean, she went a very opposite route, but now she works in a managerial position at Target. She works for Target Corporate, and she travels the world leading teams.
Very nice.
Yes.
So she gets all the Stanleys that she wants, so she doesn't have to run through the store like a maniac.
Correct. Anytime I go shopping at Target, I always send her. I'm like, look, Ashley, I'm supporting your cause.
Yeah. Here for you, sis.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Oh, that's really cool. So do you have any other family members that are still doing the racing thing other than yourself? I know you mentioned your husband is kind of on the engineering side.
Yeah. So my boyfriend, his name is Brady Moline, and he works solely for Coleman Motorsports, and he basically designs, builds, fabricates. He's a one-man show, making their spec trophy truck team amazing. They win almost every race they show up to. So it's really cool to have his engineering brain to help me through. I'm a little bit more of a creative, so I'm very easily, distracted and get excited by shiny things, and he's really able to make all of those ideas kind of come to formation and be something real. So that's very lucky for me.
Well, it sounds like you guys are very complimentary to each other, so that's good.
Like most of the time. There's some days where it's like,
me.
I don't really want to talk to you today. Yeah.
Yeah. It's so reasonable.
Not today, Satan. Maybe.
That doesn't change when they become your husband, by the way. It doesn't change at all, actually.
Okay,
so,
good to know. Thank you.
Just they'll throw that out there for you for the future, possibly. Yeah. Awkward.
Are you competing in Rebelle this year?
Yeah.
And if so, whom is your counterpart?
Yes, yeah. I'll be back at Rebelle this year on behalf of Ford Performance. I don't know what vehicle we'll be in yet. I'm hoping and praying it's a Bronco Raptor again. That thing was bitchin' this year. I love it. And I'll be back with Rory Lewis. We had our inaugural year in 2023, and she is amazing. She's a phenomenal human. She is such a good navigator. She's taught me so much. On the driving side, I feel like I have FOMO all the time of what's happening in the navigator seat because she is every decision she makes is so important for what we do as a team. She's really leading the ship. I'm driving the ship, but she's leading the ship in our move to move. And it is so cool what she does, reading that topography map and using, scales, and it is a whole other world over in that navigator seat. And I want to learn how to do that. It's very intriguing to me.
That was the next question. Would you ever switch spots? Since you obviously are a professional driver here, let's be real. Would you ever switch seats? And it'd be hard, right?
It's hard, it's hard. It's obviously as a driver, it makes me a not so good backseat driver. I don't know if you know that feeling at all, but at the same time, I'm super open to teaching any skills that I think I know to Rory, so that maybe someday we can switch back and forth. That might be a goal for us, but I don't know if I'd ever fully take the navigator seat.
I know some teams do. They switch off every other year, and they, kind of give each other a chance behind the driver's seat. But I don't know. I feel like if the driving thing is like your strong suit and the nav thing is hers, maybe you just stick with what works.
Well, when we were talking about doing Rebelle, I was going to do the driving, and Misty was going to do the navigating, and she's already familiar with that because she's retired Coast Guard. So she's already used to seeing those kind of maps and, in a similar situation, something. So that was going to be her strong suit, obviously, because that's not mine. But driving, I'd love to do that. Hey, Amy girl.
Hey, Amy.
Yeah. So
now you know why I didn't text you back, Amy. I'm live right now.
I didn't get a text.
She messaged me.
I didn't get a text either.
Shelby and I didn't get a text. Are we not cool kids?
I'm kind of a big deal around here. I don't know what to tell you.
Swear to God, I'm done.
I'm not as big of a deal as Shelby, but I'm kind of a big deal around my house.
In my house?
Yeah.
I make the rules, damn it, in this house.
That's right. I make the rules in this bitch. That's right.
That's right.
Must not know about her.
So other than Rebelle coming up, what else do you have going on in 2024? What other cool things are you doing?
What am I doing? Let's see. Next month is, I guess, February?
Tomorrow, sister.
Like tomorrow, honey.
Yes. Oh, my Lord. So I'm really stoked on this. So Rory and I are hosting a navigation weekend. We train all year long, and Rory and I spend a lot of time together. But what we kind of don't end up doing is hanging out with the rest of our friends that also compete. And then it comes time to compete, and then we get to kind of work together a little bit. And so we got back from the rally in 23, and I thought, why don't we just host a weekend of navigation and camping, and kind of an opportunity for all of us who are typically competing against each other to actually come and hang out and just have a chill weekend and, kind of just spend some time bouncing ideas off of each other. So we have created a weekend called Rewind and Rendezvous, and it will be in Johnson Valley.
Nice.
We are hosting it at our very good friend's ranch at Baja Forge. And if you aren't familiar with Baja Forge, Teresa Contreras is a badass. She is, she does body work and custom painting, and they also make custom bumpers primarily for Broncos at this time, but they also have this really beautiful ranch in Johnson Valley. So we're going to be hosting our event there, and we're going to just be kind of honing our navigation skills, and we're giving people an opportunity to come and navigate with us who don't know how to navigate by map and compass. So Saturday is all for women who have competed, and Sunday is open to anyone, male or female, who want to just kind of get their feet wet and even using a topography map, using a compass, using a plotter, learning what a scale is, and then actually being able to go out and chase some checkpoints. So that's what's next up for us. And
Nice.
heading to the Mint 400. Then we're taking a little vacation. It's like a working vacation to San Felipe, Baja. We're going to take our race car and go put some miles on it. We've only raced one race on it, so we need to put some more miles on it and test out parts and whatnot. We're going to spend a little time in Baja.
That feels terrible.
I feel like we need to go down and cover that, Arla. I think that's not being appropriately covered. I think we should
go
go.
live.
Yeah.
You should, because it's going to be fun. Like, this one really is.
I want to drive. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm gonna go.
It's gonna be fun.
I grew up at the racetrack also, but it was called NHRA.
Oh, different track.
I love to go fast. Let's go.
Yeah.
She does.
So we're actually going to be going down there at the same time as the San Felipe 250. So we're going to chase the race. We're going to go find some cool spots to cheer people on. And,
Nice.
Yeah, we've just kind of by randomly talking about it, we've got a pretty good group coming down with us. So it's going to be fun, you know. And as a racer, most of the time you go to a race to race. So to be able to go to a race and be a spectator and just kind of like, I don't know, live the other side beyond the sidelines of the race, it isn't so bad every time. It's kind of fun to
sound
be
like
the cheerleader.
It doesn't.
And this is just the first 3 months, and then I will be hosting a trail ride, which this one's kind of near and dear to my heart. I am going to be a panelist for, this is a very cool event actually that someone else is hosting, but it's called Music in Motion, and we are raising money for a 501c3 organization called Drive Toward a Cure, and we are raising money and awareness for Parkinson's. My grandfather passed away from Parkinson's, and so we are, we want to find a cure for this. We want to figure out how to help not only the people who have Parkinson's, but all of the people that surround and help support those that do have Parkinson's. So we have a really great event going on in April, April 18th. And so I'll be hosting a trail ride to raise funds to go towards this specific event.
Very nice.
Now, is there, if somebody wanted to donate, is there a website or something where people could donate?
Yes. So it's drivetowardacure.org/music-and-motion. And I'd be happy to send that to you if you want to share that. But
absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to be a really cool event, and it hits home for me more than just the Parkinson's and my grandfather. But I now live in Southern California. However, I lived in Reno all of my life up until 2 years ago, and the event will be held at the National Automobile Museum in Reno. And I'm really excited to go back home and be able to the Automobile Museum is kind of where I actually got my start in the industry and learned so much about off-road and the history of it, and to be able to go back and be there for a really positive cause means a lot to me. I'm looking forward to it.
That's awesome. That's going to be I think you're going to probably have a very good turnout, and that's going to be a very, very beneficial event. That's awesome.
I think so too.
And then what else is going on later in the year? Other than Rebel, we know that's coming up.
Yeah,
we know what you're doing then.
So Rebel training and prep, believe it or not, I mean, it takes all year. We work on, we train all year. We constantly, I mean, any weekend we have, even if it's just a day. Thankfully, Rory and I live relatively close. We are about an hour and a half or 2 hours apart, and she lives very close to the desert. I live close to the beach, and she lives close to the desert. So it's just, a 2 hour drive to get to her. And then we love our weekends in the desert. We're like, oh, no cell service. It's like our girl time.
We're about an hour and a half, 2 hours apart, Misty and I.
Mm-hmm.
She's up in the mountains, and I'm over here.
Over here.
There's mountains here, but she's like in the mountains.
Yeah.
She's way out there.
Up in the mountains.
Said, when I get rich and famous, I would love to have a second house in the mountains. I love the mountains.
Wouldn't be a bad gig.
No, it smells so good.
Yeah. The pipes freeze though.
Oh, that's one.
No matter if the mountains or not, or where when it gets negative
in the mountains.
You gotta leave a dripping.
Yeah. It's the whole thing. The AC or the heat actually. And then we walked in and the pipes and the toilet water was frozen. I mean, everything was frozen. It was like,
Oh my God.
We're like, what?
That is cold.
Yeah, that's pretty cold. Mm-hmm.
How cold was it, or is it?
Well, it got below zero. I mean, it was in the negatives when we left.
It was a few days.
Yeah.
But I think part of the problem was that the heat quit, so there was nothing,
Yeah. We lost power apparently while we were gone, and the heat tripped the breaker for the heat. And so then it was just a winter wonderland in my house, apparently.
Oh.
So yay.
Yay! Is it all fixed up now? Or?
Everything's good now. Yeah. Heat's working again. The pipes did not burst, thank God. So all is well. Yeah.
If not, she wouldn't be sitting in that cabin right now, I can tell you.
No, I wouldn't.
She'd be camped up in a hotel somewhere.
Yeah.
So would I.
Yeah.
Well, it does get cold here too, by the way. I'm in Huntington Beach, and it doesn't get that cold, but it feels cold here a lot.
Yeah, I was gonna say you should be very thankful that it doesn't get that cold there, because it's really cold sometimes here.
It's crazy because it's 60s this week here.
Yeah, it is.
So that'll happen for a couple of weeks. So we can have 4 seasons in a 24-hour period here. It's the stupidest thing, but it will snap back and we will freeze, and it will probably snow and ice and all that stuff, and it'll bounce back and forth. That's why everybody's always sick in the Midwest, because it's warm and then it's freezing and then it's back and then it's back. And then, your immune system's like, no.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. So great. So good.
So tell us a little bit about your vehicle build. Which vehicle you normally? Well, you'll get a different vehicle for the Rebel, right? You said they'll give you another one for that. But what's your normal vehicle build that you
off-roader
tootle around in?
My tootler is my it's my everyday vehicle. So it's when I go. I was just at King of the Hammers this last weekend. That's what I take for trail rides. It's what I take to the store to get groceries. I have a 2021 Bronco Wildtrak. I have a 2-door, and I love that thing. And I've done a little bit to it. I haven't done too much. What I love doing is going fast in the desert. The small modifications I've made are to help me go faster over big bumps.
Suspension.
So suspension wise, I have iBox springs. So I have the springs themselves gave me a 2-inch lift in the front and an 1.5 inches in the rear. And I have Total Chaos upper control arms. And that's it. I mean, I do have some different accessories. I do have Bushwhacker steel fender flares. And I have some awesome Casey highlights. I love them. They kind of have a little bit of like the retro look that fit with like the retro, body
Round
style.
smiley face.
Yes. And that's it. And otherwise my truck is stock and it works really good.
Tires.
That's awesome.
You got different tires, right?
I have BF Goodrich tires.
Me too.
Same size, same stock, 35-inch tires come with the Wild Track.
Mhm.
And so while I was out this weekend, I did a trail ride with Baja Forged, and also I went out with Optima batteries this past weekend. And the whole time, I just felt like, damn, my truck works good. Like it just, I had a friend ride with me, and she has a 4-door. So the 4-door with the longer wheelbase typically is going to take any sort of like whoop type, better. And she got in my truck and she was like, "Man, yours rides so much better than mine." And and it was a very nice compliment. I did call up my iBox contacts and I was like, "I just want to let you guys know my truck is badass, and it's badass because of you guys. So thank you for doing that." So that's it. But man, that Bronco is my baby. And what's also sort of like, kind of mushy about it is, so that was my my Rebel competition vehicle in 2021. So it competed in 2021 and 2022. And the livery of it is based off of my grandfather's 1968 Bronco. And Ford did amazing with it. They even wrapped the interior cage to match my grandpa's. Which I don't ever take the top off of my Bronco, but if I did, you would be able to see that. But it looks good, it works good, it's fun to drive. I love driving it. I love driving it around town.
You're making my allergies active a bit.
And the trucks look really, like the old Bronco and the new Bronco look really cool next to each other. It's very fun. My boyfriend Brady will drive one of them, and we'll take them to like Cars and Coffee or a cool quarantine cruise, so that they can both be next to each other, and they look pretty badass next to each other.
Nice.
That's fantastic. I know your grandpa would be very proud of that too.
I sure hope so. He passed away right before I got my Ford deal. And, I think he knew it was coming. I think he probably, we'd already had some meetings. We just hadn't made anything official.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that would have been really special for him to witness it.
That's awesome. That's so cool. So what do you think is going to be on the agenda for 2025? Are you going to do Rebel again, you think? Or are you going to try something completely new?
Well, I don't know. But what I would love to do, I mean, this is such a big question. I love Rebel, and there's a lot of aspects to it that every year, even though this will be my 6th year doing it, it's so hard. And it's almost like the more years you do it, the harder it gets, because you know what to expect. And, we train and we train and we train, and then we show up and we're like, well, shit, we didn't know this was going to come, so we didn't train for this. There's always all these curveballs, and then so it is not only, it's so physically challenging. You're camping for 8 days in a row. I mean, I don't camp really. Like now I'm like, that is my sufficient tent camping for the year is Rebel. It starts this last year. Oh my gosh, it was like 14 degrees. I know you're going to be like, I don't feel bad for you. It's freezing here. But it was so cold. This year we woke up and we were in Elsa's castle. The zipper was stuck with ice from our breath. Like our breath is what
Yeah.
created ice.
Mm-hmm.
And then having to like load all of our shit up and like, you know, with frozen fingers and in the dark, you know, that stuff's hard. And then you compete all day and then you get back and like the day is not over. Then you get to set up camp and then you get to prepare for the next day. And it's, you know, it's a long 8 days and then you end up in Glamis where it's like 110 and you're melting. It's crazy, and we're very lucky to have these beautiful new vehicles. And this year, thank God, we had Jiffy Lube on board, so we were able to have all Pennzoil lubrications and oil, and that was very thankful because this was the coldest it's ever been in any Rebelle history. But you know what, my ultimate, now that we've built this desert race UTV, you know, my ultimate goal is to race in the Sonora Rally, which is a beautiful mix of navigation and race and pace. And that's really where I would love to blend my love of Rebelle and desert racing. So I don't know if that'll happen in 2025, but you know, maybe in the next couple of years we can get that together. That's a big undertaking. Just really learning that navigation and that flow, and that's really the hardest part. And putting a team together that can be with us for a week in Sonora, Mexico. That's my current goal for sure.
Not bad.
So did you, I mean, I know that you grew up in a racing family and all of that, but did you, from a very young age, you were like, absolutely, I'm going to be a professional racer. I'm going to be
No.
Or did you have other things that you were interested in as well?
You know, I was really shy for I'm still a quite shy person, but all the way through college even, I was extremely shy. And my grandpa was my best friend. I did everything with him. He was my partner in crime. You know, he taught me what to do and also what not to do. And but he was always he was in the limelight. You know, he was the man. And whenever he would like pull me into the limelight with him, I was mortified. I was so just like, all these eyes and so when I started college, I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to be a part of the show, but experience it in my own way and then write about it. And what was very funny was apparently when you go to school for journalism, you have to be in front of the camera. And
You did.
I was like, what the hell? I thought I was learning how to be in front of a camera. This is terrible. And I was so scared that, so it was like we had to be newscasters. I remember this so clearly. We did project newscasters. And our class was split into, you know, like 2 days of newscasting. And I was on the second day. And I prepared for it and everything. And except I knew it was my turn to go. And I was so scared. I didn't go to class and I never went back. And that's how terrified I was.
That's how mortified you were of that.
I'm not kidding you. I was so terrified on camera. And but my grandpa just kept making me come on stage with him when he went on stage. And, you know, he came from a different era than us, where, you know, school was everything. And he believed in me, and he said, that's okay. I know that you have all these skills and everything. Like, you don't need to have a degree to be worth something. And so he brought me into the family business. And so I didn't know, you know, long story long to answer that question. No, I didn't end up doing what I thought I was going to do. And even though he brought me into the racing scene of things, it was a little bit later in his life, and not too long later. I mean, it was maybe 10 years that he then was diagnosed with Parkinson's, and that really took him out fast. Yeah. And he was my rock, man. He was my he was my business partner. We had started a business together. And so when he started to decline, it was really, our focus shifted on him, on helping, making his last years as quality as possible. And so really when I had the opportunity with Ford, that I kind of got this second chance to live my dream of being an off-road. And so it is kind of funny. I posted about it today, but so I actually got to write a foreword for the new Ford Bronco book, and it was so I'm officially published.
You're officially a writer now, yes.
I'm officially published, which I never thought would happen, and it's just kind of like, I don't know, it's a little bit surreal. That was what I originally had thought my life would be a writer, and obviously it's gone pretty. I don't know which way it's gone, but it's gone different ways.
But look at you now doing a live podcast on camera and everything.
On camera, and I'm not scared.
And you're not shy.
No, you're doing great.
No,
Thank you, Grandpa.
Stop packing.
Yeah, Grandpa. That's because of him.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I am a fellow journalism dropout, so yeah. I initially started going to college for journalism, and then I switched over to computers. So
what was your transition? What made you change?
My dad telling me that I'd never make any money in journalism.
Oh.
So I was like, oh. Well, I kind of like it though. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I guess so. So yeah. Yep. But
there's a beautiful thing behind writing. I feel like it's a lost art that, social media has changed. Today I feel like people, talk about content creators, and content creators are really the journalists of today. They're there at an event, they're capturing the event, and they want to be the first ones to tell the story. And that's exactly what it was 20 years ago with, amazing publications. But there's still something so beautiful about, opening a book and smelling the pages and really like creating the visual story in your mind, like through someone else's words.
Absolutely. Yep. Oh yeah. I still write. I finally write more now than I did when I was active duty and stuff, but yeah, it's nice to get back into it for sure.
It is. Yeah. I love kind of reliving. So I started a blog on my website. I haven't been very diligent about adding to it, but because I wear 1,000 other hats now, but I wanted to start the blog, and I felt like even if 2 people read it, fine. There was two people who were interested in reading my articulated story. But man, it's been cool. Like I wrote about this year's Rebelle. I very quickly after Rebelle, that's in October, I turned around and raced the Baja 1000 in November. And so I went back and I wrote about both of those competitions, and, tried to be as honest and, really talk about how it felt for me. And so if anyone's interested to go and see my blogs on shelbyhalloffroad.com, a blog lives that you can read words of experience.
You can actually read, people.
You can actually read how someone did something.
It's written by a real person, not AI.
Yes, not AI.
Good thing. Yeah.
Yes. I was actually down pre-running the Baja 1000. So in between my stints driving the race car, I was in the back of F-150 Raptor with Starlink, writing my blog of how Rebelle went, every single day by day, it was so cool. I don't know. It was just really cool to kind of like relive the rally, and now not only can other people go in and read about it, I get to go back and I can really relive the feelings and everything that we went through during each big experience for me. And every competition is huge for me and means the world. In the moment that I'm in it, it is my whole world.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing. You got some great stuff coming up, and that's just, yeah, I don't know. Like,
That's just 4 months.
you've got like a busy schedule, and you had a busy schedule last year, and just, it's definitely important to capture that stuff, though, for sure.
Yeah.
You will forget with all that running together.
It's true. It is. I used to hear my grandpa talk about, oh, back in 1973, and there was this rock and this bush, and I had to drive in between them, and I'm like, how in the world do you remember that it was 1973 and that there was a rock and a bush and they looked like this and it was this time? I mean, I don't know how he did it, but I have to write anything down to be able to remember it.
Exactly.
Oh yeah, same. It doesn't get any better as you get older, just FYI.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you. Great.
Writing your grocery list, you'll go to the grocery store, you'll come home with stuff on your grocery list that you never even went and got. It's on the list.
Oh, every time.
Marked out, sitting there like, hey, you forgot me.
Yeah.
Nope.
All the time.
All the time.
Every time. Every time. That's awesome.
So if people want to find your story, what is the best place to do that? On your website? You have social media? What are your channels and handles?
Yeah, I mean, I've tried to make it easy. Everything is Shelby Hall Off-Road. So you can find me on Instagram and Facebook, and my website, shelbyhalloffroad.com.
Awesome. Well, we wish you all the luck this year. And we have some other friends that are going to be in the rally this year as well, which is pretty exciting. It's Kara and Danielle's first year. They're going to be, this is their rookie year. Mm-hmm. And then Katie and Lisa are going to be Team Wild Mavings. It's their third year. So we'll be cheering all of you guys on from here for sure.
I'm sure Azure will do it again.
Yeah.
Love Azure. Yes.
Yeah.
Will is the rookie team, where are they from?
Arkansas and Mississippi.
Mm-hmm. Wow. All right. Well, if they need any help, feel free to have them reach out.
I know they're going to a lot of the classes and stuff.
Yeah.
Danielle's going to do the navigation part, and Kara McClellan is going to be the driver. And they'll be in a Jeep JLU. Yeah. A Tuscadero pink one. You will not miss it.
Boo.
Right.
It's Boo JLU. Yep.
Yep.
And you'll see.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely let them know if they don't happen to watch the show. We'll let them know to reach out to you. I'm sure they'd like that.
Absolutely. So. The first year is very intimidating. So however we can help, I know Rory and I feel the same. We want to make that first year as happily memorable as possible. It will be memorable.
You, and you'll see if you still speak to that person.
Right.
Yeah.
When it's over. Right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Arla and I barely speak now, and we haven't done the Rebel together. So, I'm just kidding.
But if I have Mountain Dew and snacks, I'll be fine.
Yeah. If she has snacks, she's good for anything.
And don't talk to me for like 2 hours in the morning.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Snacks, so that's perfect. You should be the navigator then, because you have to plot you get, I think, two hours. So that's 2 hours of like blinders, because you have to plot. And Brady, my boyfriend, helped me. We built a super bitchin' organization system in the back of our Bronco Raptor this year. And so it was a whole aluminum platform. The goal was to have no tie downs. I hate I love stuff being in its place, but I hate tie downs, because then when I want to get in my bin or in the refrigerator, I have to like undo everything. Mm-hmm. So our goal this year was no tie downs. Everything just has a mounting spot on the platform. Anyways, he knows how much Rory and I love our snacks. And so he created a magnetic bin that was just right behind both of our seats, so we could just grab it and then put the magnetic bin right back. So girl,
nice.
I got you on the snack.
I like how he does business.
Yeah,
that's better than a snackle box.
What?
That is
snack
better.
boxes are pretty freaking cool.
They are pretty cool.
But
What
that
is a snack box?
next level, you know, like those little storage box bins that has a handle
Like
and you open it
tackle
up
box.
with all these little
But with
things in it,
snacks.
or you can get them at like Home Depot or order them off of Amazon or whatever. It's like a tool thing.
I don't know this. I don't know what you're talking about.
Google a snackle box, man.
Google snackle box.
TikTok.
You will not be sorry.
And you put all your little things in there.
I'm looking that up.
Cool as a magnetic.
That is going on the list.
Yeah.
Snackle box, man.
Okay.
For sure. Keep all your snacks organized. Yeah.
Mhm.
Follow us for more tips. Yes.
Oh, more tips.
Seriously. Snack right.
Thank you so much for being on the show tonight, Shelby. It's been a great time talking to you.
Yes.
And we look forward to seeing what you do this year in Rebel. And we'll be following your story. And thanks again. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me. You guys are a blast.
Absolutely. Everybody have a great night, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye.